Jonathan Larson's Rent the Musical rebelled against conformed social standards by taking taboo topics and making them mainstream through the use of pop rock music, thus creating a new musical genre. Through his creative ideas and raising awareness for HIV and AIDS, he and his music became a piece of history. Larson's rock opera set a new standard for future musicals to look up to and has become an inspiration to musical composers everywhere. The musical also introduced equality and representation in many forms, breaking barriers in the theater community. The rock opera Rent the Musical created a new genre of musical theater. Before Rent, musicals consisted of classical, operatic tunes. Jonathan Larson was heavily inspired by Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim, as well as popular 80s music. Rent differed from other musicals because of its inclusive feel. The musical was real and passionate, which led to the large fan base they continue to have today. Larson's musical won many awards, one being the Tony Award for Best Original Score.
And the winner is Rent. Music and lyrics, Jonathan Larson.
Several musicals since Rent have been created, and many authors have said that they have been inspired by Jonathan Larson and his show. Pop rock musicals are now favorites among many and have taken over the musical theater world.
In 525,600 minutes, how do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love?
Jonathan Larson's Rent was created for his friends who had been diagnosed with HIV and AIDS, a disease that seemed to take over the world in the 1980s. The virus is not spoken about much today, besides being mentioned a few times in a textbook. Several characters in Rent are diagnosed with HIV and AIDS. These characters have to overcome the struggles of the virus with their friends who help them along the way. Rent raised awareness for HIV and AIDS because of its popularity. HIV and AIDS have impacted many people's lives, and several people still do not know much of it or how to help. The diseases were taboo topics at the time, not to be mentioned, but Larson shined a light on them in a society that attempted to shut it out. In the 1980s through the 1990s, people of color and of different sexualities were discriminated against. A majority of the characters in Rent are of different sexualities and races, which creates a sense of equality and representation in the show. Not only does the show represent an abundance of races and sexualities, but it also features a transgender character, which continues to be a popular topic today. Jonathan Larson lived in an area of New York that consisted of a variety of different people, which inspired the equal representation in Rent. During the 1990s, it was difficult for people to accept differences. Larson created an accepting environment that had not yet existed before, and sparked a movement of equality. There continues to be discrimination around the world, and until June 2015, gay marriage was not legal in the U.S. Rent the Musical spoke out about equality, a topic that continues to be controversial in today's society. Due to Jonathan Larson's musical of equality, love, and acceptance, people everywhere have their own place in the world. Rent told society and the individual that it is okay to be different and to accept it. Not only did Rent conquer and defeat social norms, but it also raised awareness for HIV and AIDS, a virus which impacts people's lives today. The musical broke musical barriers through its use of pop and rock music and influenced the composition of modern musical theater. Larson's musical rebelled against a conformed society and its views by showing people that it is okay to be different. Live as Jonathan Larson wrote. Given to love or live in fear. No other path, no other way. No day but today.